2-4, rocking that 2-4. I got like 24 hours on me. Man, I'm rocking mat time. I've been on mat time, man. I'm like, y'all nigga, get on your feet. I ain't saying no names when I get in that room, man. You already know I'm gonna keep it discreet.
How crows gave Earth's biggest city the middle finger. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back with another banger. Huh? Who? Hey, can you help me Bryson a bet with another banger of a reaction for y'all boys, man? Hey, man. Say, man, look. I'm finally healthy, Cuddy. I'm finally off my AD. I'm finally full healthy, bruh. I'm off my Tatum. I'm fully locked and loaded. My nostrils clean. My throat W. Whoa. I don't even mean to do that, bro. But everything is a W, Cuddy. I'm 100% full, Cuddy. And the first reaction we're going back to is casual Geographic. Lock in. Now I'm sure he's gonna be talking about pigeons, right? Is that pigeon jacked or am I tripping? Hold on. Look at this. Cuddy, Doctor Strange ass fucking move, bro. Cuddy, why does pigeon standing like a gorilla though, bro?
Do you have any idea how stressful a street war with birds would be?
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like we lose a lot of people in a like pigeon street war, but I feel like one airborne disease and it's over with, bro.
No, you don't. Because you
never mind.
don't live in Tokyo. Tokyo has a gang problem.
Tokyo?
Problem is the members aren't human and can fly. At one point, there were more than 36,000 crows crowding the eastern capital, thanks to the massive amounts of trash produced by the city each year.
Ugh.
Crows are basically monkeys minus thumbs, but with unlimited airtime, and as corvids, along with others like ravens, jackdaws, and magpies, make up the smartest group of things with wings on the planet. Smart enough to use cars as nutcrackers, only to collect when the walk sign's on, and smart enough to memorize garbage routes for different parts of the city, just to snatch trash before the workers do. But
note, this is what? This is a raven. Yes, they're that big. That is a massive raven, though. But I'm not gonna hold you, though. Gutty, I'll be mad as shit if I'm the raven. Like, you see me, like, patiently waiting. I'm not bothering nobody. I'm just over here waiting for food, right? And you about to waste food by somebody, I don't know, some middle class family with their rich laughs and shit, right? Some upper class family just, didn't care. And you about to throw this away, buddy? You about to throw this away, champ? No, gonna give it to the Raven. I'd be mad too if I'm the Raven.
Workers do. But a habitual feather menace won't just wait for you to trash it, as Tokyo crows have robbed people to steal their loot.
I'm not gonna lie, if the Ravens did this shit against all influencers and IRL streamers, I have no issue.
The bird called Garasu has bloodied the faces of school children while trying to make off with candy, and have even broken into classrooms to raid lunchboxes. They'll also storm zoos for a living lunch, often in the form of kidnapping baby prairie dogs and ducklings. Not to mention they'll attack livestock, pecking at the udders and causing cuts that can lead to infection. That is if they don't just bleed out. In 2017, Tokyo's government received over 600 complaints of civilians thrashed by the aerial urbanite.
I mean, not gonna lie though, if you're what the fuck, if I'm the government, what do you expect us to do in terms of like the crow infestation? I guess they can do like, actually, I would. What the? How do okay? The government is good at countering homeless people, but this is like a big step up in terms of like annoyance, right? How if I'm the government, how the fuck you expect me to counter birds, bro? Huh? Want me to shoot them down? No, that's impractical. Like, bro, there's got to be at least like one madman on standby who like they call like as soon as like the complaints like came piling in, like, bruh, we need someone to handle this shit. Some weirdo, the Kenjaku of all birds, right? The guy that's all for like raven genocide just comes out of nowhere. Hey, bruh, I got a plan. Like, how would you even counter this? Hold on, he might get into it.
With most coming in the spring, they're nesting season. Which brings another problem. Crows nesting in utility poles have caused blackouts, and using fiber optic cables as material has brought down entire broadband networks.
I'm not gonna hold you. I thought the biggest issue would be the poop. You were all thinking it, bro. On everything I love, you were all thinking this. Where do they poop? They all have to go somewhere.
One time, even shutting down high-speed bullet train service in Akita. Hundreds of million in yen are spent each year removing nests, with the Hokuriku Electric Company stripping 15,880 in 2018.
Damn.
Yet somehow the crows seem to shake it off. How? Well, because the crows started making decoy dummy nests to lead them away from the real ones. Crows and Tokyoites have been beefing for years, but it didn't escalate until a certain event in 2001, when one crow decided to dive bomb a man while he was playing golf. That man was Governor Shintaro Ishara, and he swiftly declared conflict on the corvids, with promises of changing Japan's national dish to crow pie. Since then, it's been on site and flight, with the government trying everything to combat a vindictive air terrorist, employing hawk mercenaries to try to fight fire with feathers,
hawk mercenaries,
and even installing beehives in the heart of Ginza, so the Ginpachi can give the crows a taste of arguably even more of a flying crash out. But one thing about Japan, you don't with the Yakuza, and these air gangsters have been testing people in ways arguably no other city animal ever has.
What have they been doing?
And for all humanity's hubris,
damn goodies, that's the second time this happened to this lady, goody. God damn. The crows hate her ass, bro.
This might be the one time we have to eat crow.
That's 3!
And not in the way that Chiji had in mind. So how did a bird manage to humble a nation the most since the Emu War of 32? Because at least emus are damn near dinosaur size. Well, like almost everything else, it started with our garbage. Tokyo produced 3.52 million metric tons of trash in 2001, and in 1994, the government switched from black plastic bags for curbside pickup to semi-see-through calcium carbonate options. The intent was to reduce environmental impact, but a consequence was the scavenge happy could now see what was in the bags and had a much easier time finding takeout. In recent years, Tokyo has seen a rise in bears and boars commuting into the city for trash, and wild macaques have continued to be a problem. But according to a wildlife management study, out of the 10 major invasive species,
crows?
It was crows that caused the highest percentage of harm.
Hold on, what else you got? They got parrots, garp. Kudzu? I knew about kudzu from a Wendigoon video. Raccoons, bear. Largemouth bass, tall goldenrods. Okay.
It was also crows that people were most in favor
monkeys
for lethal measures against.
Damn.
The gag is, crows in Tokyo aren't invasive. People just hate them off principle. But if just liking trash was the only barrier of entry, Japan would have more problems than a flying black Air Force.
Right.
The problem is, crows had a counter for almost everything thrown at them.
Okay, even like airborne, I'm telling you, Cuddy, I feel like a IRL stink bomb will like neutralize these guys, dog.
First is that crows have great memories and hold grudges. In 2006, remember that year, the University of Washington conducted an experiment where 7 crows were trapped and eventually released by people wearing scary masks. Not too long after, study leader Professor John Marsloff was strolling the campus with a mask when 47 out of the 53 crows he encountered violently rejected to his presence. Each following year, the number of vindictive, on-site campus crows grew and peaked in 2013. Even though at this point, they'd only see the mask twice a year for a few hours, and especially even though most of the crows on the offensive weren't even alive at the start of the study. It wasn't until September 2023 that the harassment eventually stopped, and it probably wasn't even that they forgot, just that it took 17 years for them to drop the vendetta. There's also the implication that crows can communicate so well that even those born after the study could instantly tell which masks meant bad. So yeah, that memory is good for more than just garbage routes.
You think like, okay, so like I get it. The study was done by guys wearing a mask. You think the crows ever attack some ugly son of a bitch, Cuddy? Some ugly ass dude. Someone that looked like the Predator, dog. Like straight up just ugly in the face. They thought it was one of those people in a mask, and they instantly just started fucking berating him. And then one of the guys that were like that was with the study but not wearing the mask saw that and was just laughing his ass off.
If you do wrong by a crow, you're screwed for a very long time, which Tokyoites have learned the stressful way. One man, Hiroshi Takaku, saw a couple of his colleagues being attacked by a few crows and fended them off by swinging his belt.
Nice.
The crows backed off, but the next day, they returned to work to find hundreds of crows posted up on their building of business, waiting for them. So safe to say, conventional extermination doesn't really work on an animal that can learn the look of the workers doing it and will mob them on site. They also tried traps where they'd bait the crows with food like lard and then gas the captured crows with carbon monoxide.
I was right!
But not only was that method way more costly than it was worth, they didn't expect a group of goth tweeties named Murder to turn death into a life lesson. Crows have funerals, but not the kind that you think where they mourn the dead.
They probably just eat them, right?
In fact, they're more likely to anyway, when a crow sees another dead crow, it'll often call out to the surrounding birds, and they'll all gather around the fallen member to investigate the cause of death. A study even found
that is actually horrifying.
That the sight of the deceased triggers activation in the part of the brain associated with higher order decision making. Because crows understand cause and effect, enough to realize that a threat to one is a threat to all. So they'll recruit others to investigate the cause of death. It's why crows will sometimes avoid a field for years if they see a past tense crow there once. The same study also found that crows will harass any human seen near the corpse, likely pinning the death on them, but will also do the same if they see a human with a hawk, probably realizing that a hawk and a human can equal a bad time. So mass crow killings barely put a dent in the population. And speaking of hawks, they weren't as effective as the government hoped.
I would assume so, dude. The Hawks are going up against like 5 million of them.
Enough hawks will murk crows. Crows will use their numbers to effectively mob birds of prey and chase them off.
Exactly. That does not seem logical. Who the fuck came up with crows, Cuddy? At that point, you need to be executed and fired on the spot. Whoever came up with that dumbass idea, Cuddy. I feel like low key, bro. Just give the people money for murking crows.
You see where I'm going with this, right? These Flyinsteins had a counter for everything. The Tokyo terrors would avoid areas with traps, and any crow deaths were likely reported on and adjusted for by the greater crow community. And let me just remind you that crows were out here making decoy nests to slow their human ops down. Even with the crow cavalry falling from its near 40,000 population peak, in 2010, there were still an estimated 20,000 running the naked city.
Golly.
Causing the government to get even more creative.
A mother stretches one plate across all 5 of her children. A father skips meals.
Oh, for Ramadan? Shout out Ramadan. Everybody participating in Ramadan, shut them out.
This is how bad it got. Tokyo had researchers studying more than 10,000 different crow sounds and isolating the specific sound they make in response to a predator and playing those calls on loudspeakers near trash sites. Basically,
what that's IQ. Actually, that's smart.
Pilot whales do to orcas, Japan had to resort to with a bird. But really, the only thing that made a difference was regulating the very problem that caused it. Hold
on, I'll be right back. I gotta do something real quick. Dude, I gotta take a shit. Sorry. I'm back, dude. I just took a massive dump, and also I took a massive nap, bro. You know how good of a nap it was to finally close my eyes and be able to, and not have to like breathe super hard, or dude, I love the post sickness breathe. Oh my gosh.
Started covering their trash with blue protective tarps, and Utsunomiya University professor Shuei Sugira helped develop a special yellow garbage bag that the crows couldn't see through. And it had to be a very specific yellow or else it wouldn't work. Many places like restaurants in Ginza pivoted to having their garbage collected at night, instead of the crows' prime time of late morning. But by far, the most effective measure was just making less trash in the first place.
Oh, well, yeah.
And Tokyo's 3.5...
But that's not the fun way, though. No, dude, that's not fun. Boo. Environmental safety. Boo. You think the guy that first pitched that as a solution was booed out? You lame bitch. Or hey, Tim Duncan, no spice. You boring motherfucker. He just got flamed out the office, bro. You guys coming up with you got guys coming up with airborne viruses, air nukes, robot crows to murder them. Crow. What's it called? What's it? Crow Plan B. A bunch of other amazing fun ideas, and you got this schmuck.
2 million metric tons of trash in 2001 was cut down to 2.45 million in 2024. Eventually, the crow numbers would start to chip away.
Jesus, this will actually terrify me, dude.
And in 2026, the population is only 20% of its peak 2 decades ago. That was the only way a trash terrorist was going to be beat, as bird experts noted that the traps would only work on younger, dumber crows.
Yeah, idiots.
And that the birds even figured out how to work around the protective tarps. But some experts worry that the war isn't over, that it's only a matter of time before the next wave of street-smart crow fiends rise up again.
Dude, genuine actual war terrorists, dude.
Crows are just too smart to be defeated by conventional methods, because crows are not a conventional bird. In fact, they might have the most unconventional form of self-defense. Crows are the biggest trolls in the animal kingdom, and I don't think it's close. But what if I told you the rage bait strategic? Let me explain.
Okay.
Crows are omnivore opportunists, and a lot of those opportunities come from scavenging. But scavenging can put them up against much bigger, more powerful
animals,
predators. So crows will often be so annoying that they force the competition to rage quit. And they'll do this by pulling feathers, and they'll do this to some of the largest birds of prey. Stellar sea eagles are big enough to catch an AI accusation, but a crow will still tail check them. And in this video, you start to see why, with this crow pulling up on 2 turkey vultures and repeatedly baiting one of them until the vulture finally has enough and makes it the bystander's problem, allowing the crow access to the bird bath. An even more extreme example was a crow arriving at a fresh carcass and waiting for stronger vultures to tear into the hide he couldn't. And with the gift box open, the crow immediately started pulling tails and testing patience.
What a bitch. What a little shit, dude. Oh my gosh. Nah, I'm messing with crows, bro. That's IQ. I'm kind of messing with the crows.
Well, eventually, the troll bird instigated a vulture brawl, during which he snuck in and stole him a piece. It seems the habitual line stepping is a way for the crow to counter brawn with brain.
That's IQ. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like the crows kind of deserve where they're at, dude. Let the crows stay.
Crows will use troll tendencies on anything from seagulls to eagles, from deer to dogs. But there's one animal that always seems to fall for the rage bait. The number of catfights provoked by crows is actually insane. I don't know what that crow said to that cat to make him crash out like that, but surely someone's mother was involved. And then they're always right there to enjoy the violent fruits of their instigation. Crows don't want peace, they thrive off problems. Just to hover above it like a boxing promoter. Now, it's possible the crows recognize the cats as a threat, and this is a 900 IQ play to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, or 2 cats with 1 crow. It would make sense for crows to turn cats on each other, especially if they have fledglings or a nest nearby. But crows are also smart enough to just do stuff for fun, and they're smart enough to use tools to do it. So I can 100% see crows using live cats as tools for their own amusement. Especially since in a lot of these clips, the crows don't look like they have anything to gain. No
yeah,
food,
they're just fucking chilling.
no
or
agenda,
trolling, dude.
just free will and love of the game.
Yeah, it's just like it's like rivals players, bruh.
What do you think? Anti-predator measures, resource access strategy, or just pure trolling?
Trolling, dude. Trolling. Like literally the good griefs of like the animal kingdom.
Who's to say it's not all 3? But
Could be.
whatever it is, it does unlock a new level of the crow's IQ.
I ain't gonna lie, I feel the cat right now. As the older I got, Gutty, I'm just getting more, bro. Literally today, I got rage baited by some fucking guy on Rivals. It was so fucking annoying. Like I knew it was rage bait, but I fell into it and I got fucking like voice banned. Pissed me the fuck off. Like, bruh, and like it was like this fucking like bitch ass loser in his like in his family living room. Like you could dead ass hear his mom and his little baby or like little cousin or older brother in the fucking background, and he was just so annoying, so fucking aggravating, just grating on my ear. And he had this distinct voice too. He was like a high schooler or some shit, right? He got to be like late high school, whatever the fuck. It was just so annoying. Could he sound like he would sound like he was in high school, but he was like a super senior type of guy. Like his voice sounded too deep. You know what I mean? Like, you know how whenever someone speaks, you can kind of tell how they look like IRL. You know, I just say IRL, ugh. But like, whenever someone has like a distinctive like bass or girth to their voice, they sound fat as fuck. This guy sounded mad chubby. Like he sounded like he personified the word chubs. You know, and like I was going back and forth. I was trying to piss him off and rage bait him. I was trying to rage bait him even more because I was going in. But then I got comp banned for an hour. So fuck Rivals. And Cuddy was a mad racist too, bruh. Like every time I'm on the game, motherfuckers be thinking I'm black. So like immediately, you know what they say, Cuddy. You a bitch, hoodie dude. You this, that, and the third. Start dropping slurs, Cuddy. Another one, he just called me a fucking monkey. It was weird. And of course, Cuddy, Rivals protects the racist, Cuddy. Protects the racist and the trash players they putting in my lobbies, bruh. Y'all heard of that new shit where like the Rivals players be like, not Rivals, but like it's a website where you can bet on like throwing people, right? Cuddy, that website be targeting me. I really wonder if I'm on that website. I don't think so. No fucking way I'm on that website. I feel like it'd have to be active streamers.
Theory of mind is the ability to recognize that other beings have thoughts and mental states that can be used to predict or even manipulate behavior. Here's
even capybaras, Cuddy?
a quick test. Let's say person A puts a sandwich in the office refrigerator.
Okay.
But then person B comes along and takes the sandwich out the fridge and puts it in a pencil drawer.
What a fucking loser. I need person B to be fucking obliterated, dude. Person B needs to be sent to like jail, bruh. Real talk, Cuddy.
At lunchtime, where's the first place person A would look?
The fridge.
If you have theory of mind, you'd say the fridge because that's where A left it, and you know that they don't know that person B is a sandwich thieving waste of carbon.
It's still on site, Dale. I didn't forget. Well, I ain't gonna lie. If this ever happened to me, Cuddy, person B genuinely needs to be like swatted, bro. Like speared. Needs to be like a roundhouse kick on the ass. You know what I mean, Cuddy? Like a bunch of shurikens on this man's nuts, dog.
Now, if you're thinking, well, obviously no shit. Well, congratulations. You have the emotional bandwidth of at least a toddler.
Very cool. The theory of mind, the most obvious theory, Cuddy.
But crows have shown
Captain Obvious ass theory, Cuddy. Motherfuckers be getting paid to come up with these whack ass theories, Cuddy.
advanced levels of theory of mind just by knowing that.
Wait, how is this even a theory?
Frustrate a cat long enough, the cat will eventually take it out on a fellow cat. Another example is crows will often hide food, but will also pretend to hide food if they know they're being watched, making a big show out of it and even making sounds associated with being happy just to keep the food stuff in their beak and hide it for real later. And it's the crows that do the stealing that are most likely to perform theft insurance, meaning they can put themselves in the mind of another crow and act accordingly. Now, I don't want to act like this is a super complex thing. Like, squirrels will do the same misdirection to protect their nuts. We're just gonna ignore that they often forget where they put them for real, and that ADHD builds forests. But crows take it further than anything with a walnut-sized brain should. Crows building dummy nests to fool Tokyo bird control is another example. But my favorite example was this story of a crow that got bullied off parking lot fries by two seagulls, and after repeatedly trying to take back what was his, seemingly gave up and flew off and appeared to find what looked like other food. Well, of course this got the seagulls' attention, and with all their biblical greed, they flew over to steal again, and while the seagulls were left with the stick the crow was posturing as food, the crow was able to spin back and take the fries, their pride, and the W.
What a fucking play. Like, I feel like at this point, I kind of gotta respect the crows a bit, cuddy. These evil Eisen, Mayuri level like geniuses, these guys have to be respected, bro. Is this thumbnail? Low key. I'm kind of craving a thumbnail. Nice.
Along with theory of mind, crows were also able to pass Aesop's test.
Aesop? Okay.
In this one, the animal would need the foresight to understand that they
water. Oh, the more, okay, the more they
reach
put
a
there,
tree
the
in a
more it
small
goes up,
tube
right?
by dropping stones to raise the water level high enough. Raccoons were able to pass the test, as
Raccoons
were apes, although they got creative, with an orangutan spitting
Oh, I don't know why I thought he would piss in it, dog.
water into the tube to grab the prize, and a chimpanzee just peeing in it.
Oh. Ah! Good move!
When it was the crow's turn to step to the plate, not only did they pass, they knew enough to use solid sinking objects over those that float, and understood that using the same logic with a tube full of sand made no sense. That performance put the crow on par with a 5 to 7-year-old child, which
Nice, Scotty. Imagine your 5 to 7-year-old child being dumber than a crow.
again, is pretty solid for an animal with a brain the weight of 3 nickels. Interestingly, crows did not pass the mirror test, and save for 2
So they can't tell their own reflection, okay.
European magpies, corvids in general didn't seem to recognize the bird in the mirror. But
You think a crows ever try to fuck their own reflection?
they do seem to understand the concept of reflection, with Caledonian crows able to find hidden food that was only visible by looking at a mirror from a certain angle. But forget everything I just said. Did you know crows can understand analogy?
Huh? Like a metaphor?
Being able to clock an analogy like bird is to air what fish is to, water, was believed to be a strictly human trait, but studies show that primates like chimpanzees and even monkeys like baboons can learn the concept.
Okay, that's kind of horrifying.
So how do we figure out crows can too? I'm gonna explain, but first, you gotta lock in.
I'm locked,
Okay? Lock in. Alright, let's do it.
and I get a fucking ad. Oh.
Gaza is at a tipping point.
So this test, led by Edward Wasserman of the University of Iowa, started off pretty simple. First, they trained 2 hooded crows to match the correct card to the sample card.
Okay.
They'd have 3 cards and 2 cups. The card in the middle would be the sample card, and it would be something like 2 blue circles. And the 2 cards would be on top of the 2 cups, and one card might be something like 1 red and 1 blue circle, and the other one could be a square and a triangle. See, now the crow would have to understand that the correct card would be the one that also has 2 circles, and picking the right one would reveal a juicy mealworm at the bottom of the cup. The other cup contains nothing, because wrong answers deserve nothing. Another example would be if the middle card had 2 pink squares, and option 1 had a pink circle and a pink triangle, and option 2 had 2 green triangles, then the correct answer would be the one that also has all pink. The crows passed easily.
Easily?
But that wasn't the experiment. That was the warm-up.
Okay.
As I just described, identity matching to sample.
Dude, this is actually horrifying, dude. Maymay's good. Maymay's a fucking demon.
IMTS.
Maymay might be special grade, Getty. Special grade.
The real test would be if they could solve relational matching to sample, or
Relationship.
RMTS. RMTS basically means if the sample pair is AA and your options are BB and CD,
BB.
the right answer would be
BB,
BB.
yeah.
You would pick BB.
Right.
If the sample was CD and your options were EF and GG, you'd pick EF.
EF.
See, now that's analogical thinking, because AA and BB aren't literally the same,
But like
they are in
the
terms
same
of
concept,
the
yeah.
relationship the letters in the pair have to each other. So right here, the crow would have to understand that because the sample card has 2 different samples, then the card with the reward would also have 2 different shapes. Nice.
What if wait, can't he just smell? Wait, can't he just smell the food? Wait. Wait. Okay, but like still. Okay, so they have a weak sense of smell, but still, couldn't they smell it, or at least like see like the people put the food in whatever like cup and then memorize off that?
Alright, try it again. Bueno. Now you want to hear the kicker?
What?
They were not trained to do this. They got this on the first try. They went straight from IMTS to analogical thinking, completely on their own. We're still talking about crows here. Wasserman said it. It'd be one thing if they were brute forced into learning, but the fact that they were able to reason their way into the right answer on the fly, you almost have to reevaluate how smart you think they are.
Oh, it's kind of horrifying. It's really horrifying, dude.
And that's why you're not ready for the crow revolution. Their greatest weapon is their mind, and you can get wrecked purely off of pattern recognition. Lisa Joyce was attacked by crows during a 4th of July celebration in Vancouver. What was weird was, out of the hundreds of people outside, Lisa was the only victim. The harassment only got worse to the point where she had to change her commute because a literal murder would be waiting for her outside on her way to work. After weeks of avian abuse, she stumbled across a local Facebook support group with women talking about their crow trauma, and other than, being Tweety's target practice, Lisa noticed all the women had one thing in common.
Blonde?
They all had long blonde hair. As for why blonde bias? Well, you might find your answer in Seattle. That's where science writer and fellow blonde Lynn Peoples was jogging when she took multiple bird strikes to the back of the dome. Later in her jog, she saw a man, probably having a mental episode, absolutely crashing out at the birds at the park, chasing and kicking at them. Birds that included...
Maybe he just knew what we didn't know, Gutty. He's a genius.
crows. He also had a long ponytail. Guess what color it was?
Blonde.
You can catch heat from a murder as a bystander, and your only options are to move, dye your hair, or I guess you could wait in the house for 17 years like a cicada. Crow hate crimes have gotten so common, someone developed an app to track crow attacks, and crow tracks quickly gained thousands of reports.
Wait, how's crow tracks doing in fucking North Carolina? I barely see crows.
As much as I love crows, I can understand why people are terrified of them. They're the most human bird on the planet, and that is really uncomfortable to some people.
Oh hell, dude, that's horrifying.
Let me make it worse. Because corvids like crows, but especially ravens, have had a relationship with wolves that is eerily familiar.
Wait, okay.
You see, corvids will scavenge off wolves' leftovers, but often it's the flying dry snitch that leads the pack to them in the first place. In return, the wolves seem to tolerate the birds picking at the meat once the wolves have ripped it open. But it's not just a business relationship, as ravens and crows have been seen playing with wolves in Yellowstone.
Oh, that's horrifying.
Sometimes grabbing sticks to play tug-of-war, or sometimes even flying above the wolves to get them to jump at them. The birds seem to especially favor playing with wolf pups, and naturalists watching swear by corvids having emotional bonds with specific members of the pack.
Aww.
Not to mention Caledonian crows, the ones that pass the tube test, can not only use tools, but they'll build them, like with multiple steps. Like if you give a Caledonian a box with food and a bunch of sticks, but none of the sticks are long enough to reach the prize, the crow has the presence of mind to combine multiple sticks to retrieve the treat. That kind of compound tool use basically puts them at primate tier. So let's see here, able to use tools, hold grudges, wage straight up war, befriend wolves.
So they're literally just like toddlers, dude.
Understand analogies, yeah, either they're the humans of birds or we're the crows of primates. And that's probably the biggest reason why people fear them. They're arguably the biggest threat to human hubris. If Thanos snaps us all out of existence, don't be surprised if we come back to a black Air Force in the driver's seat. And that's gonna do it for this video.
So the big limiting factor for crows is just no thumbs, right?
Drink water, hug your mother. I for one welcome our imminent avian overlords.
I don't.
Just for anyone watching. Acknowledge your father, and I'ma see y'all in the next one.
Wait, no, I don't acknowledge. No, I ain't gonna lie, Mr. Casual. You tripping, Cuddy. I don't acknowledge this shit. Look! They're swarming. Low key, if like a bunch of crows just decided to plan something, right? Like plan a national shitting day where they just poop on every single thing that they see. Who's gonna stop them, dog? You? I ain't gonna lie, I feel like I could stop the crow revolution right here and right now, bro. If I really wanted to. If I really wanted to, though. But fellas, that's gonna today's video. If you liked the video, like the video. Actually, wait, hold on.
And I'ma see y'all.
How long has this video been? I don't think I did enough. 27 minutes? Hold on. Dude, that nap was good as fuck, though, bruh. Hold on, what do we do? What can we do? I have no idea. Let's do Wordle. Alright, fellas, we're doing Wordle. Let's see. I got you. Let's do trays. Okay. So there's no T, no R, no A, no S, but there's a Y. No L, no A. What the fuck? Okay. No A. What the hell? What the fuck could this be? Is this a hint? Okay. But there's a D in it, though. There's a decoy. Okay. I got one more chance. Okay. D. Dilly. No. What the hell? Dizzy! Fuck! Oh, god damn it. That's some lame ass shit. Whatever. Love you, man. Peace. Bye, dude.